Brace yourself for a journey into the heart of darkness as we delve into the twisted minds of kings and queens who reveled in the art of torture, from blood-soaked dungeons to agonizing devices of torment. Prepare to witness the unfathomable cruelty unleashed by these tyrants upon their subjects. Babylon's Nebuchadnezzar II, 604 to 562 BC. King Nebuchadnezzar, the Babylonian ruler, whose first-person account of a 7-year descent into animal-like insanity is one of the most fascinating sections of the Old Testament book of Daniel, is the grandfather of all mad kings. According to that account, the arrogant king was struck down for his disbelief in the God of the Hebrews, forcing him to flee his palace and live in the wilderness. In the Judeo-Christian world, the biblical story of Nebuchadnezzar's insanity became the framework through which royal insanity was viewed. Caligula, Emperor of Rome, 12 to 41 AD. Caligula was known for his lavish projects, sadism, and eccentricity, surpassing even his nephew Nero for the title of the cruelest and craziest Roman emperor. He once had his army build a 2-mile floating bridge for him to gallop along on his horse. In another episode, he directed his soldiers to plunder the sea by collecting shells in their helmets. Caligula, who was tall and hairy, is said to have forbidden the mention of goats in his presence, but he practiced facial contortions to better terrify his subjects. He built a lavish home for his horse in Torturous and attempted to appoint the steed to the high office of consul, but he was assassinated before the promotion could be completed. Henry VI of England, 1421 to 1471. Henry VI, the subject of a 3-part Shakespearean drama cycle, was crowned king before his first birthday, but spent his final decades battling mental illness as his kingdom lost territory to France and descended into the chaos of the War of the Roses. Henry was never a strong leader, and his first full mental breakdown occurred in 1453, leaving him in an uncommunicative stupor for more than a year. After a brief recovery, his condition deteriorated into lethargy in 1456, punctuated by religious devotions. He was deposed in 1461 by Yorkist forces, exiled in Scotland, briefly restored to the throne in 1470, then imprisoned and murdered the following year. China's Zhengde Emperor. The Zhengde Emperor, one of the most infamous Ming Dynasty rulers, was known for both his folly and his cruelty. He enjoyed leading rash military expeditions and giving orders to imaginary double he called General Zhu Shou. During the first 5 years of his reign, he made the mistake of putting a senior Eunuch Liu Jin in charge of most state affairs. When the two fell out 5 years later, the emperor had Liu executed by slow slicing over 3 days. Liu died on day 2. Ming-era novels such as The Zhengde Emperor Roams Through Jing'an portray the emperor as foolish and gullible, with the emperor enjoying a bowl of rice gruel he believes is made from cooked pearls. Joan of Arc, 1479 to 1555. Few queen stories are as tragic as Joanna la Loca, whose family and rivals conspired to keep her in asylums. Joanna was born 4th in line to her parents' thrones, Ferdinand and Isabella, and was married off at the age of 16 to Philip the Handsome of Burgundy. When a series of deaths revealed her as Isabella's heir apparent, her husband imprisoned her after her mother's death in an attempt to press his claim over Ferdinand's for the Castilian throne. Joanna was imprisoned for another decade after Philip's death in 1506, during her father's regency. Joanna and her teenage son Charles were made co-monarchs after Ferdinand died in 1516. Charles was the one who kept his mother in prison from then on, creating a fictional world to keep her isolated. Ivan the Terrible, 1533 to 1584. Ivan IV, whose nickname in Russia means imposing or threatening more than evil, Russia's first Tsar, expanded Moscow's influence into the lands of the ancient Eastern European Federation known as the Kievan Rus. Ivan instituted broad reforms, centralized administration, and established the black-clad forerunners of Russia's feared secret police. He took great pleasure in bringing nobility to their knees through torture and sadistic executions. Ivan attempted to resign in 1564 but was persuaded to return a year later. He then established his own private fiefdom, the Oprichnina, through which he exercised complete control over up to 1/3 of the Muscovite realms. In a fit of rage, Ivan murdered his own son, and heir in 1581, striking him with a pointed staff. Despite his flaws, Ivan the Terrible was regarded as one of Russia's most respected Tsars. And that's all for today's video. Subscribe if you want to watch more videos like this.